Sometimes families push boundaries and push boundaries hard. And that's what this Am I the A hole post is demonstrating. This woman says, Am I the a hole for putting my family on a school wide intervention watch list? Y'all got to hear this one. So she's 31. She says, I, 31-year-old woman, have an 8-year-old daughter who just started at a new school this year. She's been adjusting well, except for one issue: my overly meddling family. Here's the backstory. My mom and older sister are the ultimate PTA queens. They volunteer for everything at my daughter's school, from bake sales to lunchtime monitors. They've always had opinions about how I raise my kid, but since they got access to the school, they've taken things to a new level. It started small, like swapping out snacks I packed in her lunch because they thought fruit roll ups aren't nutritious. Fine, annoying, but whatever. Then it escalated. They show up during recess and try to improve her social skills by forcing her to play with kids she didn't even like. One day, my daughter told me her grandma made her hand out homemade motivational cards to every classmate during recess because she thought it would make her popular. My daughter was mortified. The final straw was when they pulled her out of gym class because they thought the teacher's activities were too aggressive for a girl and enrolled her in knitting club, knitting club without asking me. My daughter was crying because she wanted to play dodgeball, but my mom told her it was unladylike. So I went straight to the principal and had a meeting. I requested that my family be placed on an intervention watch list. That means they're no longer allowed to interfere with my daughter's activities, lunches, or basically anything at school without explicit permission from me. The principal agreed, and I thought it was over. Well, now my family is furious. My mom is calling me ungrateful for all the help she's given, and my sister is said I'm ruining my daughter's life by not letting them guide her properly. Okay, they've even started a smear campaign in our PTA group, claiming I'm a negligent parent who doesn't want what's best for my kid. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for taking this drastic step? Absolutely not. Your mom and sister need a restraining order. They need some bigger boundaries. They need some stronger boundaries because they are so out of line and out of pocket. They need a life. They need a club of their own that doesn't revolve around your child's schooling. This is not normal. So absolutely not. You're not the a-hole. Let's check out some of these comments because the original poster is in the comments. Yeehaw Meemaw, that's a cool name, says, does either have kids at the school? If not, I reply to them about any complaints and I say any further interference and you will apply for a restraining order. Then file for it if they do. The OP says, neither my mom nor sister have kids at the school. They're just that committed to meddling in everyone's lives. I feel they're but purposeless. Okay, this is supposed to say bit. I feel they're a bit purposeless, and this is one of those things that makes them feel important. I've already tried to address this calmly, but they don't seem to understand boundaries. A restraining order feels a bit extreme and honestly a bit dramatic. But at this point, I might just need one. I just want my daughter to enjoy school without being micromanaged by her own family. Slab Beef Punch says, I'm going to be blunt with you. They're insane, controlling weirdos, and you're not taking their behavior as seriously as you should. It seems like you're used to indulging them to prevent them from having tantrums, but that's not okay when it comes to your daughter's quality of life. She's supposed to be your number one priority, not them and their emotions. Your mom can't ground you. You don't have to answer when they call. You don't have to open the door when they knock. Let them have a tantrum. You will absolutely survive. Your relationship with your daughter might not if you can't put your foot down and leave it down. None of this is even remotely normal, and your daughter needs you to put a permanent stop to it. Low Cook says, plus your daughter is going to be tagged as the kid with the crazy relatives. OP needs to put a stop to this ASAP before her daughter starts hating or acting up in school. The next person says, not the a-hole. I would even go back and ask to have them removed from school activities altogether. I'd also tell them that if they don't stop harassing your daughter, you will have a restraining order. Okay, we already said that part. Yeehaw Meemaw says to the OP, I agree. It seems extreme. That's why I think you threaten them with it. If they don't stop under threat, you know nothing else is going to stop them. And then the OP says, that is true. I'm going to try this. It just feels so nerve-wracking to even say those words to my daughter's own family. The next person, agoraphobe, says, how are they even on the PTA then? My local one did not allow anyone that did not have an active student at the school, probably to avoid those exact issues. And the OP says, I mentioned this below, but I'm working on getting my mother off as a co-guardian. Mary is wondering how and why is she a co-guardian? And then this person answers, OP mentioned in a different comment that it was due to paperwork issues that was supposed to list her as a guardian if something were to ever happen to the OP. But the paperwork instead treats her mom as a co-guardian when it comes to school stuff. Okay, so now we have the answer. Let me know what you think of this. I'm sure that we're going to all be on the same page, but let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This woman in the 2X chromosome says, advice to young women. If you marry, do not change your last name unless you do not mind submersing your identity into another's. In my experience, it's a huge pain in the butt, especially if you divorce later. I'm presently on the phone on hold because my name changed years ago, and now I have hit a snag on government information to obtain benefits owed to me, earned by me, medical records, college transcripts, employment records, awards received under his name do not change on their own either. And you are not your spouse's property. You are an individual. The only issue might be if you have kids and deciding whose surname they take. Just don't. Imagine getting an engineering degree with his name, getting a divorce, and your degree ends in his name, not yours, for who you will still owe on loans, not him. Exception, your surname sucks and his is cool, and you keep that name even if you remarry. And then she says, couldn't find the rant tag. And this is definitely something to really consider, because some women, they graduate college, they put out thesis or big research papers, and it'll be in their maiden name. And then when they get married, they might take his name, but all of their other work, their history is in their maiden name. And it's just a big cluster F, because people start trying to research you or see what you have done, and it'll be in a completely different name. And I do believe that all of this paperwork is just a bunch of unnecessary stuff, more things, more mental load that women have to go through versus things that men do not have to take on. When men get married, their life does not change. They don't have to go through as much stuff as we do. So this is just something else to think about. Let's check out some of these comments. Nutmeg Tail has some more advice. She says, get your education before marriage, wear your sunscreen, don't forget the back of your hands and neck. Cats Drinking Beer says, as a woman with an engineering degree, yes. The thing my dad impressed on me more than anything was that I needed to get my degree and start my career first. Be able to support myself and love myself as I want to be. Then, if the right person comes along, great. I love my husband, but I didn't change my name. My mom didn't either. Packed Suitcase says, one of the greenest flags I've ever seen was when I met my friend's now husband at their rehearsal dinner. We were talking about names. Without blinking, he said, she'll still be her last name, and I'll be his last name. Nothing changes on that front. He included himself as if it were totally natural that both of them would have considered changing their names, not just her. I loved it. Gillian O'Malley says, my husband offered to change his name, but we decided it was just too much paperwork, no matter your gender. Pack Suitcase responds with, my sister and her husband created a new name, and both of them went through the paperwork. I would never change my name, so my partner and I will not have to worry about it. And especially since I don't want complications with my visa or resident permit, I'd rather just keep my name exactly like it is. Huge says, that's actually really cool. I like my last name, but I think about doing it if it were more boring. A Gag at the bottom says, when my husband and I started talking baby names, he included my surname with his right from the start. I didn't even ask, but it is what I wanted. Rhubarb Goldberg says, I got married like 2 months before I graduated with my second bachelor's, the one I use for my career now. My BS and MS are both with his last name. My professional licenses have all been in his name. We divorced. I kept the name. I don't give an F if he cares, LOL. My maiden last name was super Jewish. My married last name is super white normative. Avoiding microaggressions is an effing dream. I know that probably makes me an a-hole, but I grew up in the rural South as a redneck kid, and so many other kids were from KKK families, and got dicey. Not having the heat was so relaxing. Also, I was lazy and didn't have the energy to change everything and possibly disrupt my career at a time when I was living alone and fully supporting myself. Now, I really have a well cultivated reputation with this name, and I'm also not risking hangups of changing anything at this point. There you go. I'm going to leave it at that. I do think that, doing all the changing and then changing back and all of the other things that you have to think about is just a headache. Just think about when your credit card gets compromised, you have to change every last bill. It's that times like 1100. I know that's not a word. When you're changing your name, you have to think about all of the times where you have to change your name. No, it just seems like a whole lot to me. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I was sent this post last night before I went to bed. At that point in time, it had over 6,000 comments. Now it is up to over 12,000 comments. So people are really going on this one. He says, am I the a-hole? Wife wants me to set a budget for sex as part of her stay-at-home mom role. He says, I am a 33-year-old man and I'm the breadwinner in our family of four. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and it's a decision we both agreed on. I take care of everything financially, food, clothes, bills, household needs, etc., etc. Problem is, my wife wants me to set a budget for sex, meaning she wants to get money for it as she considers it part of her stay-at-home mom duties. Her absurd and unreasonable suggestion, now demand, has caused a huge fight between us. She says it's her right since she'd work hard all day and take care of the house and kids. Then she has to stay up at night so we can have sex together. And it's exhausting for her and time consuming, as she puts it. I felt extremely upset and disappointed in her behavior, but she says that she's in the right and that I'm being too selfish to see it. She keeps demanding it, but I've refused. Am I the a-hole here? Being a stay at home mom is multiple jobs. Men think that going to work and working a singular job is more important because they actually have money that comes into the home, whereas women's labor is unpaid labor and often devalued because what we're doing doesn't lead to numbers in the bank account. So men don't see it as laborious enough to be exhausted. They don't see that working with children daily, cooking and cleaning daily, organizing all of the things that go along with, kids, like going here for this excursion, going there to that appointment. All of that is taxing. So they don't see it as mentally exhausting. And the thing is, he says that he is paying everything, but she wants a budget, so she wants more. So maybe she's trying to like set out some money for herself. Maybe she wants money more than just for the simple household budget. Maybe she's trying to regain some of her own humanity that is outside of the home. We don't know because we only have his side. So at this particular point, this is from a man's point of view. It's not really fleshed out. And many other times, I don't think that men are great narrators. I think that they leave a lot out. So I'm still going to go with yes. Yes, this man is the a-hole, but I do want to know what you think. A few of the comments. Why does your wife need to charge you for anything? Does she not have the same access to your income? It should be the marital income. It should be, but it's not really that. So this person is saying your income. Marvelius says, it's strange. Others are saying he's most likely financially abusing her and she doesn't actually have access to the money. I hope she's got a safety net and gets the hell out of there fast. Something seems extremely wrong here. This person says the guy can't type out the word sex. That's some kind of red flag right there. And then this person types up some words, definitely some words there at the bottom. I'm not going to say those words. Lanky ad says info. Does she have any spending money where she is not accountable to you for what she spends it on? It may just be that she has no breathing room when it comes to money and wants some of that for whatever she wants. And then definitely not a lurker says, if is no one else feeling very uncomfortable about OP's unwillingness to say sex? This is all very strange. Boggy Creek says, I'm getting big fundy Christian vibes from OP. Yes. My husband is gay. I'm not. Okay, that's funny. Says, I saw the title and figured it was some Zoomer who's used to self censoring. And that's me. I'm not a Zoomer, but I am used to self censoring. But no, straight up, a millennial not saying sex must be a fundy. This person says if she has equal access to their money, paying her would make zero sense. He'd be paying her in money that's already hers. My sister in law's husband controlled her money like this. She'd be asking her mom for a substitute for baking soda because she'd used up her spending limit, and he'd come home with a new tablet. But see, he needs that for his job, so it's different. It happens. It's a control tactic, and I suspect it's what's happening here, or she wouldn't be coming up with ways to get money that is legally hers already. King of the Hill says it's a control but trust issue as well. She could have been terrible with money, had bad credit, high debt, and thus he has to curtail her access to money, given his is the only income. We don't know that for sure. He hasn't said that, so we don't know anything about it. We don't know anything about that. Okay, Nefariousness says, I have a brother in law who has to pay his wife for sex. She says it's the only way to get spending money because he is a cheap bastard and won't give her spending money any other way. Killed on My Heel says, that's exactly what I was wondering when I read this. She is a stay-at-home mom and doesn't have access to funds. Princess Rosia says, also sounds like she doesn't get help with the work and mental load around the house. That kills a sex drive too, so fast. Sex becomes a chore. I don't agree that she should be paid for it, but maybe she's trying to make a point. Nobody really seems to be on this man's side. A lot of people are understanding her point of view, maybe because we've seen this enough where we know that stay at home moms, that's definitely a precarious situation to be in. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.